Hello, class. Please settle down and open up your books to page 10. Points under. Hey, this is Big Bullfrog. And joining me this week, or today, I don't know, it's like whenever you're watching this, joining me is none other than Doc, Heroscape
Hey everybody,
extraordinaire.
it's good to be here again.
Yeah, glad to
Excited,
have you again.
excited to check this game out. I didn't get to watch very much of it when it happened, so I'm excited to see it here. I was playing in this tournament as well, so
Yeah.
um,
So unfortunately, you had to focus on your own game at the time. But this is going to be an awesome game. Don't want to spoil too much, but I will say, I got so many cool games from this tournament. I've already done, one of them with Doc versus Vegetarian. That was an awesome one. This is another one that I think is just like one of the just big highlights of the online con tournaments. This is a great one. So I'm really excited to be sharing this and to be having Doc along to help co-cast it with me.
yeah. This is the finals of
Mm-hmm.
the Bring Two tournament. Both of these players had two armies that they brought to the event, and then there's a dice off, and the winner of the dice off decides whether they want to pick first or second among the pool of four armies, and then the person who picks second picks any of the three remaining armies. So in this case, Tiamat and Superfrog are both playing their own armies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so uh, I don't know who picked first here, but Superfrog had both that army on the right of the Havoc Eradicators, and he also had a Dreadgul army, I believe.
Sounds
And then
correct.
on the left, Tiamat had this army, and then he also had an army that had Kantarna, which is a VC Hive Lord. It's a custom Hive Lord, and Nagrubs, and it also had some other unit. I think it might have had Raelin in it, but anyway, they both went with I think the armies that they probably played a little more than the other one.
Yeah.
I actually played against Tiamat the round before, where he beat me in an incredibly tight game
Mm-hmm.
with this same army. It came down to I was playing the Varkanan, so all the custom unique wolf squads, and it came down to just Heracles against the wolves. Heracles is obviously great against the wolves because he has those bonus versus large units, and he just barely managed to outlast them because the wolves crushed his troopers, but
Yeah.
Heracles was great. So it'll be. I suspect it'll be a little bit of a different story this time around because Heracles is not as happy going into a matchup against the Eradicators. I think the Eradicators are actually pretty strong against Heracles,
Mm-hmm.
but the troopers will probably be a little bit more effective against the Eradicators than they were against the Varkanans.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
Exactly. Yeah. This
Yeah,
will be a really cool one. This is actually I'm pretty sure Tiamat played this army each round of the tournament. Probably not intentionally, but that's what he ended up playing with. There will be, well, by this point, there will be another video that you can go back and watch where we have another video with Tiamat playing this army in an earlier round.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a strong army. The troopers
Mm-hmm.
are, both of these squads, I think, are maybe a little bit less commonly seen than some of the VC units. I mean, like everybody at this point who plays with the VC units kind of knows that, for instance, the spearmen are pretty elite.
Yeah.
But I would say these are a couple of the squads that are maybe just a notch under that. The Microcorp troopers, are kind of in that same class with 10th Regiment and 4th Mass in terms of being a four-figure squad that
Right.
can sling four attacks of two, except that they can turn one of their attacks into an attack of four, uh, as long as that figure didn't move. So it's a very, very strong combination. Also, you never have height advantage against them, which can be really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they can now. It's not as good for them as it would be for something that has a higher defense. That two defense can be a big limitation. That's why you see them with Raylan a lot. But still, they're pretty strong. And the Eradicators, they're a funny squad. They're pretty unusual in how they play. They're a 4/4 with range, which seems completely insane. But then if they do attack from range, they have this D20 roll where they can end up, if they're very lucky, they can attack again, but more likely they just end up killing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be pretty careful playing them. The way I tend to describe it is it's usually better to attack with range than not attack, but it's better to attack with melee than attack with range if you're using them. So
That makes sense.
we'll see how they end up getting used in this matchup. So
Yeah.
I imagine more of the fighting will probably be on the south end because the Wanacliff is more generally useful. Although getting a good Heracles heal could be pretty
Huge.
pivotal.
Oh yeah.
Although to be honest, I suspect it'll be very difficult to time because if I were Tiamat, I'd be really scared about doing a Heracles rush at the beginning and being able to have Heracles peel off the battle and go get Kelda in the middle of the game seems pretty difficult. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Heracles in cleanup in this matchup, but it's hard to say for sure. We'll see how he wants to play it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm excited to see what strategies they use because I don't think it's totally clear what the best approach is.
Yeah, I agree. I like it's interesting to see how they approach this. I'll go ahead and get this game started so we can see how they initially start out. But
This is my ex. He's not even interested in telling you that, in like pretending that Heracles is going to take a turn.
right.
Well, although that is actually one of the things with Heracles because he has that X extra turn power. It's pretty telegraphed. If you're going to put order markers on Heracles, you're going to put 2 on him because you're going to put the X there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not putting 2 order markers on him, your opponent pretty much knows that it's the X and that you're not putting any order markers on him. So I understand the sort of willingness to go tongue in cheek there because you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like, unless you're doing some pretty next level mind games, which probably isn't going to happen in round 1. Yeah, definitely not going to see that too much.
So
I am interested to see how these squads clash against each other because you've definitely got like an attacks per turn advantage for the most part with the troopers,
right,
with 4 guaranteed attacks per turn. But the Havoc Eradicators have such a good stat advantage against that.
For sure. I like the Havoc Eradicator's chances if it's just head to head. Obviously, Heracles will be there in cleanup, which is a big factor. This map is also, I think, a little bit more Eradicator friendly, just because the line of sight blockers are very significant on this map.
Oh yeah.
And the height advantage is all in the center. There's nowhere where you can get what I usually call intermediate height advantage, which is to say, height advantage that is maybe not as high as the middle, but is higher than everything around it. If you look at it, there's not a single spot on this map there's not like a hill that's too high that's not eventually connected to the height 3 stuff. So you have to move forward to get the height here, which kind of negates that one range advantage that the troopers have. If the troopers could kind of camp on a hill and ping from 6 spaces away, they can force Eradicators forward and force the Eradicators to play really like a melee squad. Which, I mean, I shouldn't really say that. The Eradicators want to play like a melee squad anyway, but force them into a height disadvantage. Whereas here, in order to force the Eradicators into a height disadvantage, they actually have to control the middle of the map, and that's extremely difficult on this map. In my experience, the only ranged armies that can pull that off on this map are ones that are extremely fast and have a big kind of speed deployment advantage over their opponents. And I don't think troopers really have that here.
Yeah, especially when like going against Havoc Eradicators, he could try sprinting out, but the Eradicators are so fast as well anyway. I mean, I feel like that's very contestable if he tries to go too aggressive there.
Yeah, I mean, when you just compare the stat lines, the Eradicators are 2 more attack, 2 more defense, and 1 more move. That's a lot more than 1 more range on the other side. Now, granted, there's an additional activation and that special attack, and the fact that the troopers can't take height advantage on them means that it almost encourages Tiamat to just set up on a level 2 plateau and just shoot up and just. At least that way he can kind of slow roll a little bit and force the Eradicators maybe to get strung out. If he gets a couple kills, he'll get more heavy weapon attacks that way. I would be pretty patient in the way I set up, and you can see he's setting up in a way that like my instinct immediately when I see where he's setting up is like, oh no, he's giving up height advantage to a melee attack. But then I remember like, oh, that actually isn't a
That
thing.
doesn't matter,
because
yeah.
it's the eradicate. So I have to keep reminding myself that actually that what seems like a really poor strategic position is not necessarily one. With that in mind, he could really just go for those shadow tiles,
Yeah.
and
Here and here.
which are normally not great positions on this map. But for the troopers, they're really not bad. So
That's
it's
true.
an interesting. It is one of those it is subtle things where it makes you have to stop and remind yourself, and it's not exactly like other Heroscape units that way.
Yeah, I actually so microcore troopers are easily one of my favorite customs out of the C3V group, just because I love how they change the game, and they don't do so with like by being overpowered. They're still very balanced, but they remind me a lot of like Death Chasers of Thesk and how they just change a whole aspect of the game, and like you have to change how you approach when playing with or against them.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. He did get one shot off, and it's a very nice spot for superfrog there, because the Keldaglyph is actually just impassable terrain for the eradicators.
Mm-hmm.
It's impassable terrain for any common. So due to the height changes there, that trooper is actually in a spot where it cannot get engaged.
Right. Yeah.
If you could walk onto Kelda, you could engage it, but there's not enough move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's not enough move to get up there. So that's actually a good move by Tiamat to just hide from that one. Don't even try to fight it, or at least get in a spot where you can hide from it, and then maybe you could jump to engage it on the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's being patient here, moving up. He's not. I'm not sure I like that he set one up to get heavy weapon special attacked though, by moving one up 6 spaces away from the trooper on the bottom there. Yeah, given I understand not being in a rush to shoot, like not trying to get one at 5 spaces away, but it'd be best to not get heavy weapon special attacked, because that's really if you're just getting pinged for 2s, you're totally happy as the Eradicator player, as Superfrog. You're fine with him getting with Tiamat getting 4 attacks to 2 against you every turn. If you can inhibit special weapon the special attacks, then you're doing really well.
Yeah, exactly. You want to, just play to that stat advantage as much as possible.
Exactly.
Not sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess Tiamat's maybe looking for a start zone snipe. This feels a little
ambitious.
Yeah. It's,
well, the thing about it is that trooper is getting engaged either way.
That's true.
I think it'll actually be a level ground engagement either way. So taking a height shot there is not so bad. Especially when you roll really good like that.
Yeah, especially when you kill it.
And I'm guessing we're going to get a heavy weapon shot straight across on the bottom. Oh, he's doing the other ones first. That makes sense.
Ooh, nice.
That's a rough start.
That worked.
That's the one you didn't want to see, because the other thing is that's losing him a kill, because he's not going to be able to engage with more than 2 units now because of that. So even if
that's another man.
Now he might just only be able to engage with 1. No, he's going to be able to engage with 2 no matter what. But
there's the heavy weapon. Okay, so the heavy weapon is the one that's blocked.
Ironically, the block is there. But the losing the one on the top was the most painful, because that was the one that actually reduces him to only getting 2 melee attacks. Now he can run up and shoot one with range, and as I said, a lot of times it's better to shoot with range than to not attack. So I would probably do it. It is essentially a 1 in 3 chance. I didn't see that. So he has a chance to engage from low ground. So he still is going to get 3 attacks. That guy should have rolled 1 extra there, but yeah.
We'll see if they get. There we go. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, they knew. Nathan's an honest sort. He probably reminded him.
And okay, so it's just kills all over the place, it looks like.
Yeah, we're starting out on a high offense. That's fine. Now, so if you're Tiamat here, you you probably want to advance as little as possible to get your 4 attacks, on the hopes that you can kind of pull these 3 in, and then you have, it's the classic string your opponent out, because these eradicators are going to end up playing more like melee units. You have that luxury. Oh, I guess this is the round change. So, but that's going to apply either way. If Superfrog wins initiative, Superfrog is going to be pretty tempted to just roll with the 3 in the front because, hey, 3 attacks is 3 attacks. May as well take them. So I would not be at all surprised to see the activations just be the 3 up front. It's kind of, this is a pretty tough matchup to not get strung out. The only way to avoid being strung out is to shoot from range. And do you really want to do that? Probably not.
Right.
Not if you can help it.
And I mean, like, and especially how, I mean, like with that initiative win right there, and then how things have been working out, it's hard to resist taking this kill and probably taking this kill. And
yeah, the only thing is his 3rd attack, if he gets a 3rd attack, is going to be a ranged attack. Right. So I wouldn't, now thinking about it, I might just rush up to go with a melee attack with one of those 2 and then bring up a 3rd unit. So he's going with a range attack with that one and bringing up a 3rd unit. Interesting. I mean, what he's trying to do is he's trying to avoid the pull. He's trying to avoid getting strung out because and getting stalled out. Which I understand, but I mean, to some extent, it's attack now or attack later.
Yeah. I think, I mean, in this specific situation with these 2 figures, I think this is a nice space to go for just because that is hidden enough that it's a nice choke point to get it. It gets the bonus attack, but nothing to attack. Yeah, and it is a May. It doesn't force you to attack a friendly. Oh, that would change the card.
yeah, it would. I'm trying to think. I believe we do have some powers that are like that. I can't remember offhand.
I can think of like Marshal Lahire and is one.
Right. Yes, I knew there was something.
I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more, but I do like those powers. I think they're fun.
It is called Reckless Second Swing for a reason. So they're probably discussing line of sight. I imagine that they'll give him that one.
Yeah.
So he does get the heavy weapon shot up there. It's going to be pretty difficult for Superfrog to avoid getting strung out if Tiamat is smart about how he does this. It basically he wants to advance really as close as possible because you, as I said, this is a very difficult map to contest the high ground against an army that has a speed advantage against you. So pretty much just going to have to figure out where does he want to back down from. So yeah, to me that's pushing too far.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking like just stay back at 6.
Yeah, exactly. Use that sort of angle between the glacier and the rock, and get you don't need to be farther than the rock tiles at that point. The only exception would be if you wanted to go all the way to the shadow, but I don't think that's the move.
Yeah, not quite in range or in movement.
Interesting. Does that one not have a shot? I'm not sure what the thought process is on that one. I would have left that one up on the dungeon to shoot over the elevated eradicator in the middle.
Shot that way.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I guess he's just taking 3 shots. Obviously these attacks at 2 are pretty tough to make good on, especially when the eradicator has height.
Right, yeah.
But we've seen stranger things for sure. You take enough shots, you'll get some. But so what is he down? He's down 3 right now. Ooh, another block. That was a very good turn for the eradicators. Are we down 5 microcorp already?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Yeah, down 5.
Yes, so far things are looking really good for eradicators. I mean, in retrospect, actually, they are about as good against the troopers as the Varkanans are in terms of just having that both a stat and a mobility advantage makes things pretty difficult. So
a good spot to swing around too.
6. Yeah, obviously he doesn't get height advantage on the attack, but if he fails to get the kill, he will have it on the defense. So
Yeah,
it's
and
still
he does
important.
deny a same level with the Kelda again coming into play there.
Yeah. The Kelda being impassable terrain is definitely tactically important up there. I'm surprised that nobody's made a play for Wennick, well, specifically Superfrog, because there's not really much of an opportunity for Tiamat to take Wennick, but Superfrog could definitely make a play to that end of the map. Yeah, height advantage is definitely still important, for microcorp attacking and for havoc defense. So it's still a big.
Yeah, it's still better to get height than to not.
Yes, for sure. So right now things look pretty grim for Tiamat.
Yeah,
it's gonna need big reversal. As I said, he's got the potential here to defend his start zone. He doesn't need to advance. He can, and if he can kill, say, those two forward havocs this round or this turn, he can prevent a lot of attacks. If for example, if he swung the microcorp that was on Snow around the bottom, he could make the one on the havoc on top irrelevant. I don't know if he's going to do that, but the thing about it is you don't necessarily want to get 4 separate targets for your troopers in a matchup like this where you're rolling such low attack dice. It's often better to just limit the number of attacks you think you're going to face. So instead of pushing forward to make sure you can get 4 separate shots, just get like 2 targets in range and make it so that only those 2 targets are going to be able to attack you on the flip side, and you'll limit how much damage you can take, and that could be more important than, because you're probably not going to kill 4 anyway. If you kill 2, it was a great turn, so just accept that. But that like the trooper that just moved forward there is going to be facing a 4v2 next turn, almost for certain. So
yeah, and if it comes down this way, then it faces nothing. So
exactly, it's about protecting yourself from.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things that's helped me most is looking for those areas where, I mean, just like you were saying, if you can turn A, like, I'll be attacked, but I've got, like, say even he was gonna be on height, if you can still turn that into like a 25% chance of being killed to a 0% chance of being killed, then that's gravy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or you can just get all the kills and then
that's true.
you look pretty small. Well,
heavy weapons.
Heavy weapon has really not done a ton this game, has it?
Yeah, no, not really.
It's almost like when I play Torkonon Nagrubs, the Nagrubs get as many kills as Torkonon sometimes. The little attacks add up. That is the nature of this game. If you just ping something enough, it's going to miss its defense rolls. But
eventually, it's the Deathwalker philosophy.
Exactly. There's a reason we have the term Deathwalker roll. So this may end up being another situation where Superfrog takes a Plasma Surge roll to get a ranged attack. He can take that level 3 pedestal again if he wants it. Or he could just take 2 melee attacks and grab Wennick. It is order marker 3, so that's not a terrible strategy if you ask me. There he goes.
Looks like there. Yep.
That's pretty much what I would have done. Yeah. It's a full plate for Heracles to deal with here.
Yeah,
that is another reason why it would have been nice to maybe pull farther back with Microcorp Troopers, is if you pull the Havocs in, then when Heracles does activate, you're not going to be wasting an order marker just getting Heracles in position.
Right.
You'll be able to immediately hit something that's rushed into to try to take on Heracles.
Yeah, that would have been great, especially
or to try to take on the troopers for that matter.
Yeah.
So down to 3 troopers already. This is. I mean, I heard this was a good game, but it is not looking that good right now.
It's true. So
we'll see what happens. I'm predicting some measure of comeback from Tiamat here. But I mean, this is not so different than how things looked for Tiamat in my game. But again, Heracles is much stronger against large figures, where you can attack on Heracles' laborer's turn. I don't know how familiar our listeners are with Heracles, but when you reveal the X, you get to take an extra turn with Heracles, but on that turn, Heracles is not allowed to attack small and medium figures. He can only attack large figures. He can still use his throw, like Jotun's throw. He can still use his throw on small figures, but he can't attack them.
Yeah.
So,
Which, I mean, like, I think that throw is still very relevant when you're going in, because that's kind of another attack that gives you.
it has potential to do wounds for sure, and
Mhm.
and repositioning figures is its own penalty. So
Yeah.
he's
The coolest thing.
debating how to make this work.
Yeah, just looking at how to figure out this end game.
Yeah, he might be.
Oh, making
Yeah,
it's probably for Wannock, I'm guessing.
yeah, to take a shot at Wannick makes sense. He decides that that's the one he wants the heavy weapon against, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He gets that
if he,
ping. Nope.
but if he gets these, and then like, will he put the wound on Heracles, or will he put the wound on the microcord? I would probably, I don't know. I would actually consider putting it on Heracles and then just throwing one order marker on the troopers and hoping to win initiative. The only thing is, if you lose initiative, you're probably only getting one attack with
Right.
the troopers, but it will be a heavy weapon attack, so it's not horrible. But I guess he's decided it's time to go all in on Heracles,
Yeah, that
which
makes
is
sense.
justifiable. Um, but if I were him, I probably would have tried to get one more turn out of the troopers, just because you're losing. The Heracles is not in a huge immediate threat. Like, right, if you did take a turn with him right now, he
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't even get to attack. So, I would want one more turn with the troopers.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
back
makes
out,
sense.
force that Eradicator to come forward to attack the trooper, so that when you do activate Heracles on the next turn, he can immediately attack.
He gets the win. Yeah, I mean
But it looks,
that makes a lot of sense.
again, Tiamat not interested in subtlety here. Just Heracles. Has it been Superfrog this whole time doing this as my X? Have I been misreading it?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
obviously
It's been Superfrog.
obviously Superfrog has absolutely no reason to disguise, because he's got a mono order marker army.
Yeah, that's been Superfrog.
Yeah. So So he, but again, with the troopers, there was never really any uncertainty. You can read those order markers like an open book, because anytime you don't have two order markers on Heracles, you're almost certainly not taking a turn with Heracles.
Right.
So Superfrog has known where Tiamat's order markers are almost as surely as Tiamat knew his. And again, in this case, like, there was no possibility to put the X on. What's he? Oh, okay. So he's decided to
going for
take
the
his extra
throw.
turn immediately to get the attack here, which I think does make. Actually, I don't think I would have done that, because if you don't do that, that Eradicator is probably just going to attack the trooper. Now that Eradicator is going to get a shot on Heracles directly, and your only way to kill that trooper on your X turn was with the throw, which is a pretty low probability.
Right, yeah.
What is it, like 1 in 4 essentially?
Something
Because
like
you have to
that.
hit the throw, and then you have to hit the wound after you hit the throw.
Yeah, so it's a 14 or higher for the throw, and then
Oh,
an
right.
11
So
or
it's even
higher
less.
for the wound. So yeah, a little bit worse than a 1 in 4. Still
Yeah.
like relevant, I think, but
But
not
yeah,
something to bank on like
it's
in
not
this
nothing, but it's
situation.
like 15% at that point. So it's not something I would depend on. I would
Yeah.
rather be getting my I would rather be absorbing that wound with the trooper that has no order markers.
Yeah, exactly.
But now Heracles' run begins in earnest.
Yep.
So,
And fortunately, I mean, like even though Superfrog did have a very good early mid game, He is a bit spread out right now, and so like Heracles, if he's able to take on he will take on this guy one on one, maybe take on one or two more,
Yes,
almost one
yes,
on one.
absolutely. I mean, you can see. I mean, we were talking. I kept talking about forcing the eradicators forward.
Mm-hmm.
Tiamat never really killed enough to make it matter. But now you can see how easily Superfrog could have been stranded. Now, but the flip side of that is uh, that at this point, if you're Superfrog, you're no longer in a situation where you can get pulled forward. So if I were Superfrog, I would pull that Eradicator on the south end back into Wannick, and I would just
Mm-hmm.
start reinforcing the Wannick position immediately. I would not be looking to go forward to take on Heracles. I would try to keep my units together so that whenever Heracles does come to me, I can hit him with 3 attacks every turn for the rest of the game. I would even abandon Wannick if needed to keep my units together, because the absolute priority here should be, don't let Heracles face one attack and then kill one unit. To me, this is a mistake. I would
Totally
not
here, yeah.
attack there. I would back out. And I understand the temptation. It's like, hey, it's an attack of 5. It looks wonderful. But A, you're winning, so every plasma surge roll is an unnecessary risk.
Mm-hmm.
And B, he if you just back away, he doesn't get an attack. So yeah, you're losing an attack of 5. You're also costing him an attack of 8. So that's a win for you.
Right, yeah.
like not attacking is a win. And so I mean, obviously that was pretty worst case scenario,
Oh
but
yeah.
it was just an unnecessary risk, to be honest. The better move there is to just back out, deny the attack of 3. I'm sorry, deny the attack of 8. Obviously, in this case, he denied the attack of 8 by killing himself. But you get my point. It's still,
Next level there.
yeah, right. Indeed.
Can't kill me if I kill me first.
But I mean, to borrow, I really like Kevin's way of saying, I mean, what does losing look like here? Well, losing looks like exactly that. You take a risk, and Heracles starts a run where he's able to sort of just face 1 attack each turn or 2 attacks in a turn instead of 3, and then pick off a unit, maybe pick off 2 units with a throw. And
Mm-hmm.
he's achieving parity, and then maybe you don't have units up forward, so he can get his Kelda burn on at an opportune time by running away. Those are the things that you want to control. So in this case, Heracles, yeah, I mean, if I were Tiamat, I would be tempted to sit back and see if I can bait Superfrog into another push forward and stay in the Kelda region.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
if Superfrog gets wise to it, then he can just sit on Wannick and force Heracles to come forward. So I understand not doing that.
yeah, I definitely think it's. I mean, one thing that's so nice about Heracles with Kelda is that order marker X, especially where you're not looking to get a ton out of it against a small and medium figure army. Like, you can always burn that X to run to Kelda at any time. So if things get dicey up here, for example.
And if you look at where he is right now, he is
Yeah.
exactly 6 spaces away from Kelda. So
Yeah.
I imagine that he's thinking that. He's thinking, I could sit here. If he has me double engaged at that spot, I can double disengage as long as I have 3 life left, burn Kelda on an X. I can attack once, throw once, and then disengage, burn Kelda. So well, there goes the last trooper, but you can see how quickly things have swung to the point where Tiamat has some parity here. I mean, I would still say it's advantage Superfrog just because the Eradicators do have a pretty strong matchup with Heracles, but it doesn't seem out of the question anymore. It only took a couple turns like that. Oh, interesting. So he chose to put the Wannick wound on Heracles, obviously with the thought that he can burn Kelda, and he's probably going to want to burn Kelda sooner than later. You might be thinking, what if I lose initiative here? Like, if this is a case where if I'm Tiamat, I want to lose initiative, take an attack from the Eradicator, then kill that Eradicator, burn Kelda on my OM1 plus X. Basically, it basically gives him the ability to ignore that attack. And then he's thinking, once Kelda's burned, then I'm going to come down to Kelda, come down to the south end of the map to fight over Kelda, and I'll have 1 trooper to absorb the next Wannick hit. So that's the thought process here, which makes sense. I think it's actually a fairly smart play by Tiamat.
Yeah.
I think it's good foresight.
Yeah, that's definitely I mean that's thinking a good few steps ahead. I really like that. I mean honestly I wouldn't have thought about that. I would have just killed the trooper.
Right, and it's not a horrible mistake to kill the trooper, but I
Hmm.
think that I could see the wheels turning. There is a sequence of events here where it makes sense to basically save that trooper for I'm sorry, the next round's Wannick,
Yeah.
after you've burned Kelda. So Superfrog does win initiative. This is actually an initiative he wants to lose, um, based on that sort of assumed sequence of events. And with that in
Hmm.
mind, if I'm Superfrog, I'm I don't want. I'm not even bothering with the second attack. I'm like, all right, that Eradicator up there is burned.
Hmm.
Uh, he's gonna die next turn. Hopefully, he puts like a third or fourth wound on Heracles, so Heracles definitely burns the Kelda. I'm just gonna get my other, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my other 7 Eradicators. I'm gonna take them all down south,
All right here.
and I'm gonna get ready for the final stage of this battle.
Right, because I mean like that is your win condition right now is just like getting as many eradicators into one place as you can and force. I mean having Wannick right here is so nice to just force Heracles to come into you.
Yeah, Heracles has not faced 3 attacks yet this game.
Hmm.
Um,
He might
and
be now if Superfrog's ambitious, which
yeah,
looks
but
like.
attacking up there, I
Yeah.
don't see the value, because you're risking your plasma surge it hits, and all you really need to do is just force Heracles. You want to force Heracles off that pedestal anyway. Like, you don't want to fight the whole battle up there.
Hmm.
Uh, Oof.
Oof.
Yeah, I think this is just a little bit over aggressive. I still feel like it's Superfrog's game to lose. You know, did so well in that early going, cleaving through those troopers, but it has gotten interesting now. Now it becomes an interesting situation for Tiamat. Like, do you like? I would at this point probably be tempted to just stay there for another turn, spend my order marker 1, kill that one, and just see what Superfrog decides to do. Is if he's going to rush another Eradicator up. If it's sort of like, if your opponent's making a mistake, don't interrupt him.
Hmm.
So if he's going to be willing to keep engaging you, in a spot where you can burn Kelda,
Yeah, and
then you're
especially if
happy
he's
to continue the
throwing
battle. Now,
those.
but at the same time, I'd also be tempted to just burn Kelda now, because there's a good chance if you just stay there, or that Superfrog is going to realize what you're doing, and move his figures down, and not continue to engage you. So, no, he's gonna see what Superfrog decides to do. So he's okay. So he's
Absolutely.
continuing to engage. So, if you're Tiamat, this is essentially the path to victory. Is you've got that option to burn Kelda at any point.
Hmm.
So, uh, okay, so that's
Excellent there.
one more wound. Starts. Oh, no, you didn't heal, buddy.
Okay, so honestly, I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, I took one wound, one.
Yes. I caused some confusion in the earlier game that you recorded, where
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
did Torkelnaw's heal and the damage I took from the previous turn all in one flourish, and it was very ambiguous. Uh, yeah, I understand people getting confused about this sort of thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
so he threw there, and now he's going to look to do the damage. No damage. So this is really a press your luck moment for Tiamat. Does he think he can get one more engagement out of Superfrog?
Right. Oh, and that did not go through.
Well, at this point, I think that probably makes him more likely to stay. Um, I don't know, actually.
Yeah, because if he goes for Kelda right now, then he's gonna have a height attack down on him.
Exactly. At that point, every attack becomes good for Superfrog.
Yeah.
Even that, I would take probably the single attack at that point, because it's an attack of 5 in melee where you're not risking surge, and Kel is gone, so you
Hmm.
know that all the wounds are there to stay at that point. So I would probably take the one attack if he labors to disengage. So he's debating it now. It's a legitimately tough call. Okay, so he does decide to burn it here. So it kind of brings us
Right.
to the final stage here.
No, every wound matters now.
Every wound matters. That's right. And I would take that attack of 5 because hey, it's an attack of 5. Even though you will lose the Eradicator over it, I think it's worth it at that point.
For sure.
Because I mean, taking the 4 V5s, when Kelda was in range, is a much different animal than taking a 5 V4 with Kelda burned.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's he gonna have at this point? It's gonna be whatever wounds he does here. These are critical wounds at this point because it's gonna essentially be 5 Eradicators versus. Okay, so 2 wounds. So that's interesting because in a sense he almost only saved 1 wound by going, because he could have done this on the 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the risk. Like if Superfrog double engages and does enough damage that Heracles can't disengage to Kelda, then you just lost the game. But I don't know. If I were Tiamat, I might have stuck around at that point anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have too. Not that. I mean, I think it's a fine play. I probably would have stayed there just to kind of press it a little bit more. Also, if I can get Superfrog to come out a little bit more, then I think that's maybe good. But that's also very risky with Havoc Eradicators because they've got just so many stats going for them.
Yeah, I understand him taking the conservative play there, but I think I still would have felt like I would have wanted to press my luck just a little bit more. Anyway, here goes the Trooper at last. So that Trooper play did end up working out for him. That's just going to end up being so those 2 hits that one Eradicator did are a very big deal. So now it becomes a question for Superfrog of where he wants to do this final battle. Does he want to fight to literally let Heracles come all the way up, or will he move out just a little bit to the set of 3 height 3 spots? Yeah, exactly. I think I might want to roll out a little bit. Well, I kind of have to map it out in my head. How far can Heracles make it this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I would probably wait back there until order marker 3, but I would be happy to fight this battle a little bit farther out, just because it's pretty cramped back there, and it's easy to imagine a scenario where Heracles gets a throw off,
right?
And now you're limited, or all your attacks end up being attacks up. You're perfectly happy to just roll 4v4s for the rest of the game as long as Heracles is not up on height against your guys. You really don't want to be rolling too many 4v5s. It's going to slow you down. So Superfrog once again wins the initiative he doesn't want to win. These last 2 rounds have been definitely a looking for the initiative loss. I guess actually most of the rounds of this game, because first round he wanted to lose initiative, the last 2 rounds he wanted to lose initiative. It was really only those 2 rounds in the middle there where initiative was good.
That's true, yeah.
Interesting game that way. But now, yeah, this is a pretty tight finish. I do feel like Eradicators have the advantage here, but it is not done.
Yeah, all comes into like timing of attacks. Actually, so I think at the beginning of this round, if I remember correctly, the beginning of this round would have been when they would have quit playing. If this was like a normally timed round, they decided to extend it a half hour because it's the finals.
Right.
Which we saw in the chat. If you happen to look over there earlier, you saw that. But the points are dead even right now anyway.
That's hilarious. So, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're 30 points apiece. So that's 150. Yep. Yeah, math checks out. I agree, big. That is a 150 to 150 tie, which is funny because when I played Tiamat the round before, we almost had a 50 to 50 tie at the end of the game. Except that I took lava damage and lost a Dark Claw, which made it a 50 to 10 win. But if I hadn't taken lava damage, it would have been a 50 to 50.
That's right. I remember it came down to that lava damage.
Pretty crazy. Because he had 2 life left on his Heracles. He was 6 wounds at the end there.
Yeah.
So Heracles gets that big step up, and now he's probably going to try to throw the one off of Wanik fails. At this point, I know this. At this point, I was watching the game because all the other games were done. So this is the part that I had seen.
Oh, even though it says you left the session.
Yeah, I just shown up, and I guess I logged off after I logged on. I'm not sure why I logged on in the first place. Nice. Nobody wants to win. This is the initiative you actually do want to win, guys. Why are you rolling ones? Right, they finally get to the initiative they want to win.
That's such a nice initiative for Superfrog to take with.
It's pretty huge. I mean, the only thing is, if the game goes past this round, having the 3 means that the Wanik is likely dead meat. But at this point, you're gonna end up giving up a level ground attack no matter what. So you probably want to I would probably walk around. 1, 2, actually, 3. I would have taken the one on two, the one that the leftmost one. I would have walked it all the way around to the other level 2, and then I would have moved the one, the back one, exactly, move that one up to its place.
Yeah, that makes
just to try to because with throw you're going to get manipulated a lot. So you want to basically be covering your bases, trying to keep Heracles as pinned in as possible. But let's see. So he gets a wound with 1 attack, and then the height guy does nothing for him, or 1 for 5, nothing, as it turns out.
So he's going to play into the plasma surge.
He's playing plasma surge. Nice. I understand. But you could have gotten 3 level attacks. Is the point?
Right. Yeah. I think
or 3 attacks. I would rather have taken a 4v4 on level ground and not risked that. But we'll see if now it is down to it. Was a 1 life Heracles. He did take 3 damage with it. So if we if we're kind of, we say it's a 2 otherwise, right? So he manages to get the throw, and this is his 1, so he's going to get to step up to height. That's the critical thing. That's why I wanted to have 1 behind there to try to pin him in a little more.
Keep that disengage from happening.
But he does not get the wound, but he will get to swing down on that one and then step up and swing down on the one on Wanik. Or actually, he can step all the way up.
Yeah, so kills that one, steps up to right here.
Exactly, and swing, and then swing down on the one on Wanik, because the other one cannot swing up to level ground at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, no, wait, but he can't.
But if he throws,
he can't attack this turn on the X. But what he can do is he can throw it down there. That's the play.
I don't remember exactly. We might be saying what exactly happens, because it looks like that's exactly what his game plan is. I don't.
Well, so throw it, but he doesn't get to throw, which means Superfrog will be able to step up to level ground with 1 and step on a Wanik with the other. It's pretty. It kind of plays itself at this point. At this point, it's in the hands of the dice gods. There's not a whole lot of strategy left.
So we'll see. That's a nice 3. Nice 3.
And
the big block.
I remember that one.
Yeah, me too.
When I saw the 3, I was like, "Oh right, he blocked this," because I remembered that moment.
Because especially once he blocks that means he's got 2 chances to kill these guys.
Exactly. He can get the throw for 1 kill so if he gets this throw damage, then he can kill the other one to win the game.
Yeah. And 74. That's pretty likely.
Yeah.
And you can just feel the apprehension as Tiamat rolls for
the
damage.
It was definitely a moment sitting there. And you got to remember the Tiamat. I believe he was actually in a room with the other Michigan Heroscaper. So there's probably a lot of drama in that room.
Yeah.
So
misses the damage.
Yeah.
But gets this other kill.
Yeah. So now remember he did lose initiative though. So if Superfrog is just going to step up to Wanik here, but if he fails to get the kill, he's facing 7 dice.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to either get the kill here or get or survive a 7v4 and a throw attempt in order to win the game. So
4v5 up is not. I mean, it's not the odds you would pick to win the game.
It's about like a 40%. It's not terrible.
Okay. That's actually not bad.
If I remember it right, it's 40%.
I'm sure you remember more than I do, because then I start to try to think about math, and math is definitely not my thing yet.
4v.
And he takes it.
It's a 46. 46%. So
oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yep, hits that 46% chance to take the game.
So that was Superfrog's first ever tournament win, which is kind of an amazing stat to me.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of had an always a bridesmaid, never a bride thing going, where he finished second in many events, but had never won one. So that was pretty cool that he managed to pull this one off.
Yeah,
it's a very, very exciting game. I thought the early going really showed that just the stat advantage was not something the Microcorp could overcome on this map. And I thought, Superfrog did a good job kind of maximizing his melee attacks in that early going. But then, Tiamat really was able to do some very clever plays with the Heracles and kind of turn the tables a little bit and get Superfrog a bit strung out. Now, granted, the Plasma Surge rolls really cooperated with Tiamat's strategy. Superfrog had a couple. I think he missed most of his Plasma Surge rolls towards the end of the game.
I think so. Yeah, early game. I think he had the one surge that would have let him attack, but he didn't have another target.
Right.
And then every other one after that, I believe, killed a Havoc.
I think he had 3 backfires. So that's that's why you try to play them like a melee squad. They're a very interesting squad to play. There was actually a discussion on the forums about how strong they are afterwards. Which, I mean, he did win the tournament with them, and I think he rolled with them most of his games, although maybe half his games. I think he played Spearman one game or something else one game. So
yeah, he did play Spearman other games.
So he didn't play him every game, but they're a pretty strong squad. It's just stats are a nice quality. Those 4/4 stats.
Oh yeah, good stats are good.
Yes, and Heracles is obviously a beast. I'll be having Heracles nightmares after the round 3 game for some time.
Oh, I bet. I mean, Heracles is okay. So honestly, like these are all like some of my favorite C3V units. Heracles, Microcore. I already talked about Microcore, but Heracles just being like such a cool one-man army who can disrupt figures with his throw, and then Havoc Eradicators or the Stingers that I wish Stingers were.
Sure.
Of course, a lot of my bias from Stingers comes from the Utah meta, but that's
for sure. But yeah, it was a fun one. It had a brief lull in the middle where you thought it was over, and then it turned very dramatic in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely like some nice, just like twists and turns, and I mean, it looked like Superfrog was about to throw with all those plasma surges backfiring on him, but
yeah, I mean, there was definitely a moment there in the last round where the odds were not in Superfrog's favor. I mean, certainly when that throw landed, the odds were definitely against Superfrog winning the game at that point, because 50% chance that one Eradicator dies right there, and then he's got a 7v4 for the game at that point. And even if he fails it, he's still only facing one Eradicator. So I mean, if Superfrog didn't get the kill on that attack, he's facing a 7v4 for the game. So yeah, it's a pretty tough spot. But he pulled it out. It's fun to see the favorite swing so many times in a game. The win probability chart would have been very active.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen those ones in the football and baseball games where they plot the odds of each team winning at each point?
Oh yeah.
That would have been pretty crazy.
Oh, that'd be cool to have a way to map that out for Heroscape.
You could just have like a betting market for where people watching could place their wagers, and it would swing.
That'd be awesome. Coming soon to an online Heroscape tournament near you. Doc is on the OHS team. He'll make it happen.
We'll partner with Caesar's Palace. We'll make it happen.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, I love this game. This is honestly one of the, if not the closest games that I've ever seen. It just such an awesome finish.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And so, great game. If you want to watch more of this kind of content, okay, I guess what I'm trying to segue into is a channel that I've been plugging a lot recently, and we'll keep plugging with this online con stuff, is ISB3's Twitch channel, Filthy. They also casted this game because it was a finals game. They were also in here, and so we've got two different perspectives for you to look at. You can definitely check that out. Link in the description below. It was Filthy, I believe, Orc Elf Army 1, as well as Infected Sloth, and maybe one other person, maybe Q23, I think, was in there. But anyway, like lots
if
of
those
really
guys were
good
talking, I'm
players.
sure they wanted everybody to back up more. Those are some players who are known for their patience.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I don't remember everything. I did watch their stream live. I tried not to. I don't think I copied off of them in this one. Hopefully, I didn't because I don't remember exactly what they were saying. But
I didn't watch it, but I'm sure I copied off of
them. Maybe. I mean, you're a pretty similar group. The good old Gen Con crowd.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a great stream. I definitely recommend to check it out. You can also check out, as always, there will be a link to the battle report thread. I believe superfrog wrote a battle report of this game that you can read and like look from his perspective. Also, other games from the event are in there, so I definitely recommend checking that all out. I'm sure I may be missing a couple, but I've been plugging a lot of stuff in the description. So if you want more stuff from OnlineCon especially, I've got a lot of resources in the description. So make sure to check it out because it's all really cool. You can even read Doc's battle reports. He's got some awesome battle reports from all of his games.
Yeah, I'm not 100% through them yet, but I think I've done this event and the pod draft, and I need to write up the heroes only and the main event. I had a fairly good run in the events I haven't done yet, so I had a pretty good con overall. I'm sure you're gonna. I'm not gonna spoil anything for the people that are just waiting for the 10 points under, but I may feature in some games you have.
In a few. You've been in a couple already, but yeah. So yeah, really good stuff. I'm really excited for also just more awesome stuff to come. This is more finals games, more just awesome games in general. But yeah, with that all said, Doc, do you have anything you want to say or share or anything before we sign off?
Not really. Depending on when you have this up, there is a season 37 sign up. We're doing something called Quad Pod, where basically you pick 4 half armies. It's sort of a cross between Take Two and Pod Draft. So we'll see how that goes. It's a format we've never tried before, but I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. And even if you don't happen to sign up for it, I'm sure at some point there will be a 10 points under where you can watch some of the games from that event. So
yeah, like I was thinking, man, with how many videos I got from OnlineCon, I might have to slack off on the next event. And then when I saw the next event, I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And now I'm going to have to not only play in it, but also record a bunch of videos because I love that structure. So
yeah, it should be a fun one. And I will say that just OnlineCon in general really raised our sort of as a online group, our ability to run these online events. We really kind of refined our craft in terms of how we could run a live event. So, no announcements yet, but look for some live play online events in the coming months. We will announce them. Where there'll be single day events where you don't have to commit over the series of weeks. You pick a Saturday and you just bang out your games. So look for that.
Awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to that. If anything has arisen by the time this video shows, there will definitely be information in the description because I definitely recommend this kind of. And it's like, going to a live tournament, it's all online, but I mean, for a lot of people where they're maybe not in an area where they can play online or play in person, play a tournament in person regularly, the online format is an excellent way to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I really enjoy having everybody together on the Discord channel, and you get that feeling of community that you don't necessarily get from our weekly online type of events. So it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me for this one, Doc. This is an awesome game. I'm glad you were able to make it for it. And
my pleasure.
Yeah. Also, thank you, viewers, for viewing the game. It was a pleasure having you as well. You may not know it, but it was. And as always, just keep an eye out for more awesome stuff to come because this online con stuff is going to be coming out for a good while. But I'm super excited for it. As always, remember what a glorious world it is that we live in, and have yourself a great Heroscape day. This will be 10 points under and out.